how far into the future do you think about when you make your art? Now, this is very opportunistic of me, and my business mind really kicks into play when I think about these things, because I don't want to just make art for a specific show. I love craft fairs and festivals and themed things, and making themed art can be very fun to explore all the different textures, but that's only one show. I don't want to prepare hours and hours into one show when there are so many variables to why it could fail or just not be as cost effective as you'd want. Shows can be very lucrative when you get a huge feedback for maybe 2 days of sitting there selling things and lots of opportunities. But after that, then what? That's why I'm thinking about projects I can do. And when I think about projects, I try to think of products. And like I said, this is the opportunistic portion of my business brain. I'm sure there's a nicer way of putting that. Things I can make prints of. I don't want to make just digital prints because I feel like digital downloads and too many prints can cheapen the art or make it disposable in a way. And maybe that's harsh, and I'm working on why people buy those digital things. I want people to have original art in their home. That's the piece of me that they're buying. It's my time, and it's the texture, it's the physical presence of the object. Prints are awesome. It's affordable. People can appreciate art in their homes without breaking their budgets, and I think that's very important too. So prints, books, what other kinds of things? And I want it to be beyond a product. Asking what I want to do with my art, what I want my art to do. That's the why that sticks all of this stuff together. Do I want it to just sit on the wall and be pretty? I think that can open it up to an awful lot of things, and maybe so. Maybe it's just pretty. But what if I want it to have a message, or by the sales of my art, or the showing of my art, bring dignity to a minority that isn't otherwise shown, the awareness of things. That is helping them. It helps me as my career and artist grow, and it helps the customer also have awareness of this particular group and to feel good about helping them. I read somewhere that people buy things because it makes them feel good. And I totally understand how that can be. And so when I make something, I try to ask myself, what would the person feel? Why would they buy this? What about it makes them buy it? And I don't always design all of my art for making it the most buyable object with all of the magic words that say buy me. I don't think like that when I study out compositions. I am trying to make good art from my heart, because I have almost sold out at one little show, and people like the little art that comes from my heart. They like seeing what I see in the landscapes and the nature and the passion I put into it. But at the same time, I want to make this a career. My business mind has to kick in. If you make 10,000, okay, that's too much exaggeration, kind of pushes the point away. If you make 10 pictures of your dog, why is someone going to buy it? Are they going to buy it because it's cute, because the colors fit their kitchen, or because they also like that particular kind of dog? And they might even have one themselves. They're not going to buy it because it's your dog. They're going to buy it because it reminds them of theirs, or one they knew. And so I'm trying to apply these things to my art while not being disingenuous to my own passions for the subjects. And that's just getting way too academically fancy right there. I don't like making things for each specific show. I want to be more long-term, and I want a project for that, like a book or prints that can continue to build, and to have that book have a message for everybody that helps everybody. I would love to do residencies someday. Those are also still short-term, and even when you apply to those, they want to know what the long-term impact is of that. I've been on Midwest landscapes and Midwest-themed stuff for a very long time, and I'm okay with that too. There's so much to explore. I could do that the rest of my life, honestly, and I think I wouldn't exhaust the subject, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't get bored. Because of ADHD getting in the way, I've had struggles sticking to particular subjects for that long. Now, right now, I've also been rendering for rendering's sake, which means I'm going to make something look very, very pretty, the best way I can, and it has everything to do with the technical aspects of painting and little to do with the impact the painting has after you're done. Like the message. Is there a story behind a particular painting, and what's it trying to say? I think the environmentalist, if you think of the movie WALL-E, good story, it's beautiful, and it had an incredible environmentalist impact to all of that as well. It had a very strong message. A bit too strong for my particular taste, but hey, I get it, I still love the movie. But I want my art to have a similar kind of impact, not necessarily environmental, but a message to it, and not just be something pretty. But I think we need to stay in the making something pretty so we become good at it, and it serves our message even better. So thinking long term, if you are also creating art, beginning making art, do you think ahead of where your art is going to go or what do you want it to do? What kind of things do you think about that you don't want it to be just for one show, because the show gets over and life goes on after that, and where does your art go from there? So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below about your long-term projects and what you want to do with it, and how you make a living in the meanwhile. We can get so caught up making those little one-off projects for craft fairs or art fairs that we forget the long term. And I think some long-term projects don't pay off immediately. I think they're far worth it, but we get so caught up in the everyday bills and the crisis of every day now that it becomes a band-aid that we're constantly putting on our challenges instead of actually curing and building a better foundation for ourselves. Anyhow, this is part 3 of 4 of this abstract painting right here. It's nowhere in particular. You'll see I'll put another layer of gel on it right here. I'll often do this 3 or 4 times with different painting sessions and let those dry and continue. Thanks everyone, like and subscribe if this helps you, and I will talk to you again in the next one.